I'm on my way to glory when I die. every sin and set me free. Oh, if you are a leader and you lead because of power, if you take away from the poor man and you leave them just to suffer, oh, if your life not in line with the will of God, you must learn to search like you are. If you want to make it into heaven, my friend, live right and serve the Lord. Oh, if you are.
And good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name is Sheldon Scott, here with you up until the 10 o'clock hour.
Poor man, and you leave them just to suffer.
Today, the 15th day of November 2023.
God, you must learn to search like you are.
And you know, sometimes we had to start it like that, you understand?
My friend, live right and serve the Lord. Oh, if you are.
Yeah, just some housekeeping matters because I got in a bit late tonight, yeah? No, it's not my fault this time.
If you take away from the poor man and leave them just to suffer, oh, if your life not in line with the will of God, you better serve the search like you are. And if you want to make it into it.
Before I get into trouble, good night to you, Zayla. Hope you have a wonderful night tonight. Xavier, yes, nice. Good night to you, Agwan. Yes, sleep time. Yes, sorry for not calling you all out last night, but you know last night we was in a rush. Nice, yeah. Zoe, good night to you. Deshaun, good night to you. Renella, yes, good night.
See, there be some wicked ways in me. Oh, cleanse me from every sin and set me free. If you are a leader and you lead because of power, if you take away from the poor man and leave them just to suffer, oh, if your life not in line with the will of God, you must learn to search like you are. And if you want to make it into heaven, my friend, live right and serve the Lord. Oh, if you are a leader and you lead because of power, if you take away from the poor man and you leave them just to suffer, oh, if your life not in line with the will of God, you must learn to search like you are. If you want to make it into heaven, my friend, live right and serve the Lord.
I'm not sure what's going on with the Facebook tonight. I realized there was an issue last night. I realize apparently the issue continues tonight.
I want to.
So folks, remember you always have the backup. You can go to YouTube. So those of you that may be having an issue because I'm not sure what is taking place with the Facebook.
Live right. Tell every man. Tell every man. Live right. Walk right. You want to make it in. Live right.
I really don't know. Last night we had an issue with the Facebook. Tonight I'm seeing an issue with the Facebook again, and I'm not sure what is happening.
Talk right. Do the will of God. 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 Live right, my Lord. Walk right, my Lord. Talk right, my Lord. Home and preach about. If you are a leader and you lead because of power, if you take away from the poor man and leave them just to suffer, oh, if your life not in line with the will of God, you must learn to search like you are. If you want to make it into heaven, my friend, live right and serve the Lord.
This is not politics. Please don't forget, I'm just practicing to be a poet. Not qualified as yet, but have no fear. I'm gonna get there. am not in this world to live up to your expectation. Neither are you in to live up to mine. I don't owe no one, no obligation. No one owes me none, so everything is fine, fine. I am.
Yeah, just checking in with my technical team there. I'm not sure what's taking place with Facebook, but at least we are live on the YouTube. Yeah, the YouTube is there and kicking. So good night to all of you on the YouTube. I have the Facebook live, and when I check on my other machine, I'm not seeing it live. So I really don't know what's taking place there. So those of you that are on Facebook, can you please share the live? Yeah, can you please, those of you who are listening via Facebook, you are getting on Facebook, please share the live in your different groups and so on, because for some reason it is not showing up as it usually shows up. I don't know what is taking place with Facebook. But anyway, we've got our program to do. So a special good night to you, all of you locally, regionally, and internationally. Those of you, my good friends in St. Lucia joining us tonight once again. Good night to all of you. Grosley Dennery, yeah. Souffre.
We've worked it in vain, hoping you'll list the strain, but you're not refrain.
Laborie, yeah, Laborie in St. Lucia, and Laborie here too, right? Nice, yeah.
You say Liberation Day, and I ask, you sure is that you wanna say? Cause it sounded so good to believe. And deception is a powerful thing when you lose your rightful thinking.
Good night to all my friends over there.
But you trick us with campaign promises. We won't say a tease.
And of course, we're gonna open the phone lines. Folks, remember tomorrow night, we will be broadcasting the meeting that's taking place in St. John. There is the meeting. New National Party is staging a meeting in St. John tomorrow night, right in front of the Nutmeg Pool. It will be starting from 6 p.m. Right, 6:30 p.m. to be exact, right? So you've got to get on out. Those of you on the West Coast, hope to see all of you there.
That's the way
but we will be broadcasting. That, so we may not have a program tomorrow night because I think it is scheduled to finish somewhere about 9 or so. So we may not be able to have a program tomorrow night. But we will be broadcasting tomorrow starting from roughly 6:30. We will be broadcasting.
To allow the yellow vibes to flow.
So just keeping you all informed of what is taking place.
If we didn't know, we never know yellow would have treated us so.
Budget day, December the 4th, I think. Yeah, December the 4th, yeah. First place, everybody, it looked like even the people who sit down with the Prime Minister find out budget day was that day when he talked. The opposition definitely did not know that that day was budget day. You would expect that they would say to the opposition, well, we're looking to have the budget on that particular day, but I mean...
Past administration, chief of corruption.
Why are they so afraid, yeah?
Economic recession, we can't give you attention. Economic recession.
Because I'm pretty sure if you add up the number of years of experience of the various members of the New National Party team, experience in governance, you're clocking nearly a century. I am absolutely positive. If you add up the number of years, so you speak about Dr. Mitchell's years as a parliamentarian, Honorable Clarice Modest's years as a parliamentarian, Honorable Peter David's years as a parliamentarian, Honorable Emlyn Pear's years as a parliamentarian, Honorable Kate Skeeter Lewis Peters' years as a parliamentarian, yeah? And then in their professional lives, you add up all the experience they have there, and you put that together, yeah? The whole 10 on the other side, they cannot add up to the amount of experience that's on the New National Party side. Therefore, if you are going into a budget presentation, I would think that you want the 30 plus years of experience that Dr. Mitchell has, the over 20-something years of experience that Dr. Clarice Modest has, and that the Honorable Emlyn Pear has, that the Honorable Peter David has, the Honorable Kate Skeeter Lewis has. I think that you want that sort of experience there, and that you would do what is necessary to ensure that you get that sort of experience there. I would think that that's what you would do. But in this instance, as we could see, yeah, in this instance, we realize, well, like they really ain't care. So they went ahead with the finance committee meeting. And as Dr. Mitchell said, he sees some kind of things inside the document that was presented. Yeah, and the cursory look that he was able to take of it. And remember what I told you. Let me just pull a copy here. This is the size of document that they expected the opposition to go through in about 72 hours to come and make a serious contribution to the debate, well, the discussion in the finance committee meeting. A document about this size. Yeah, it may even be bigger. It is not likely that it will be smaller, but it is more likely that it would even be bigger than this. And you're speaking about going over that document, which on every single page has important information, because it speaks to how much is being spent in a ministry. Within this document that I showed you there, it says what is the salary of a cleaner. Yeah, what is the salary of everyone within the public service? Drivers, cleaners, go right up to government ministers themselves. It says what is the amount of money that's put in parliament, and I know I'm saying that. What is the amount of money under the parliamentary budget? It says what is the amount of money under various other areas, whether it be agriculture or tourism and so on. And not just how much money you have budgeted on a whole for that particular ministry. It says every fine detail, including how much money is spent on stationery. That's there, how much money you have to spend on stationery and so. It says what funding you're going to receive within that particular ministry or department and the source of funding and when you expect that funding to be available. Whether it's grant funding or whether you have counterpart fund, whatever it is, all of that is within the document. So you have to go through that and then you have to make the various contributions based on what is put inside there. So if things have changed between last year and this year, you have to have enough time that you could make a comparison. And if that time is not given, now, I listened to the government's press conference. Yeah? And they're not being very truthful. In fact, they're saying things but leaving it kind of open-ended. So when you say they were given the document, yes, they were given the document. The opposition was given the document. But were they given it in a timely manner that they would have enough time to go through the document properly so that they can ask the questions there at the finance committee meeting and not end up with you going late into the night in parliament because the opposition has concerns about things you could have answered at the finance committee. You see where the inexperience comes in. That's where it comes in. But you see, inexperience mixed with arrogance is a very dangerous contribution. Let me say that again, because I don't want nobody misquote me. Inexperience mixed with arrogance is a very dangerous combination. Very dangerous combination. Ignorance and arrogance. You don't know what you're talking about. You barely know. You have not spent that amount of time. And then after that, you still go and you go ahead with things and you don't look to get from people who would understand and could offer advice. In a closed setting, they could have offered it there. Outside of the hearing of the general public, they could have said what they had to say there. But no, you want it in the public? I hope you could take it in the public. All right? So folks, tomorrow, public meeting in St. John's in front of the Nutmeg Pool. Yeah, the Nutmeg Pool in St. John. Right, so the meeting is taking place there tomorrow from 6:30. The Honorable, well, I still call him the Honorable Alvin Dabrio, he'll be there, and various other members of the New National Party team, inclusive of political leader Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, will be there tomorrow. So look forward to seeing you all there. Those of you that cannot make it, we will ensure, and this time I want to make sure I bring it on the proper Talking Points page. We're going to ensure that we have it on Talking Points so that you all will be able to follow what is going on and all of that. All right? And folks, the phone lines are open. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. You can call in. And we have been receiving a lot of positive feedback from last night's program. And the eyes of a lot of people have been opened to what is taking place in St. Lucia on the Grenada end and Grenada on the St. Lucia end, and we are seeing the mirroring. Yeah, Spider, listen, myself and Spider did not have a conversation before the program. So even when he was saying certain things, I was thrown off. Yes, I follow politics and different things in St. Lucia, so I know about the St. Jude Hospital and various other things. But I was thrown off because you get to realize the parallels. It's like a blueprint was used in St. Lucia, and now they're using the same blueprint in Grenada because they're acting the same way. One of the things that we didn't get into last night was the fact that in St. Lucia, you have a situation where government ministers, it's being said, that they are traveling extravagantly. Yeah? And where do you think they're going? Guess which country? Guess which country one of the ministers just come from? Yeah? Dubai. So you realize there's some kind of connection there. That's why we constantly have to ask the question, is Grenada being run from Dubai? Because you didn't see now Grenada being run from Grenada. You understand? In fact, yesterday, during the press conference, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, former Prime Minister, had this to say about that situation with the traveling and the different things. Let's see a piece of what Dr. Mitchell had to say yesterday.
It is clear that the travels of the Prime Minister is more important than anything else in this country. And as people are saying, the Prime Minister travels. He goes back, comes back. He does not report what the travel is about, what successes for the country, if he was representing the country, and assuming the taxpayers were paying for these large delegations that are traveling on behalf of the taxpayers. While people are sitting here in need in this country, want services. Some people are not able to buy food. And you see scores of people traveling on taxpayers' resources, enjoying themselves, so to speak. And they seem to think that is the first priority, the travels of leadership of the country, not what's happening on the ground of this country. During the period of the NNP time, this period, while we're driving, coming to this parliament, this meeting here today, all of us will be passing sections of the country with hundreds. We used to have over 6,000 people at Christmas time cleaning all sections of the road in this country. Do we see them now? And we call that, we might say, waste of money. I heard it said sometime, when poor people receive money, it's never wasted, because the money is spent in the country circulating. So every sector of the society benefits from what's taking place.
Yes, folks. So you've heard there the former Prime Minister speaking on this issue. And as someone who was part of a prior cabinet under Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, he made it very clear to his members, you will only travel when travel is necessary. You're seeing a lot of unnecessary travel taking place right now. Not only that, but if you travel under a Keith Mitchell administration, there has to be some tangible benefit to the people of Grenada for that travel that you're going on behalf of the government of Grenada. But not just that. In most instances, not all, but most instances, that travel has to be paid by whoever you're going to. So if you're going to the United Nations, they should be funding that travel. If you're going to UNESCO or whatever it is, UNDP, wherever you're going to, they would have to be the ones funding not just the travel, but your hotel and different things like that. Yeah? So you take the burden off the state of Grenada for that payment, for those travels and so on. And the agencies, if they think it's so important that they have a minister there, that they will ensure that they pay to get that minister there. Not that they invite you to a meeting because they know it's a free-for-all in Grenada, so they invite you to a meeting and everybody just jump a plane and you're gone. Yeah? Until you're hearing delegations at 34 and 35 and all sorts of things going to where it is, Qatar or somewhere. And then the Prime Minister trying to play with language. Prime Minister, not because you're a lawyer, you think that you could play with language and fool us. Because the Prime Minister is saying that, oh, no, there's no delegation of that size, but it will have different people going at different times. When you add it up, it is 30-something people that are going. Is it really necessary? Even the meeting that the Prime Minister went to and make the fool of himself there on Sunday. Yes, make a fool of himself. On Sunday. Contrary to what GBN News trying to give the impression that the Prime Minister went to St. Lucia and the St. Lucians are in awe of him. GBN, all you need to listen, really becoming GIS 2.0, you know. All you need to go and listen to St. Lucian radio. Go and read St. Lucian newspapers and blogs. Call some St. Lucians, all you know, all of you know St. Lucians. Call some St. Lucians, you know, and you go find out if the header of your story that you did last night was correct. That he was well received. Well received where? Papa, you some of the same people in the room there, some of them that are blogging right now and cussing him. He too fast. How dare he? Yeah? But it's at the stage right now that he didn't even need to go to that meeting. And as we saw, it wasn't him alone. He went, Mr. Orlando Romaine. I know I'll call his name first. Mr. Orlando Romaine was there. I don't know in what capacity. I don't know who pay. Yeah? The executive assistant. I can never remember the lady's name. She was there, but she does be everywhere the Prime Minister goes, she there. She like the Prime Minister's shadow. But it's a shadow that you and I had to pay for. So that shadow is with the Prime Minister everywhere you go. Is that necessary? If he goes to Dubai, she's there. Qatar, she's anywhere you go, she's there. Is it necessary? Yeah? Of course you expect a security to go with him. He's the Prime Minister of the country. That goes without saying. Yeah? But we saw Mr. Tevin Andrews there too. Was it necessary to carry a delegation up there? And if so, I hope it's the St. Lucia Labour Party that's paying for that. Or the National Democratic Congress. Because it ought not to be the government of Grenada. It ought not to be the government of St. Lucia. Because I realize there's an inter-Caribbean plane kind of leave at a certain time from down here. He went to Barbados. From Barbados, he went over to St. Lucia. And then you had the return flight coming over. I have the flight number, everything. So I know what I'm talking about, right? Because I want to find out if it's that or if it's the RSS plane that you all use. And if it's the RSS plane you all use to go to a political event in the next country, that would be an abuse of power. The RSS plane don't need to be clocking miles for somebody to go to a political meeting somewhere. Yeah? That ain't need to be happening. So we want to know, was it the National Democratic Congress? If it's the National Democratic Congress, that is not a problem. If they pay for that trip, no problem. If it is the SLP, the St. Lucia Labour Party, no problem. But if it's the government of St. Lucia, or if it's the government of Grenada, there's a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Yeah? Because we really need to know about all these travels. Questions have been posed. You're hearing all kind of rigmarole. All kind of rigmarole answer about we can't give you the information in relation to travels and that sort of nonsense. When I know, and various other people know, that within the government service, there is a system called Smart Stream. Anybody who is deep within the government service knows what I'm speaking about. There is Smart Stream. And with Smart Stream, you can get a collection of information in relation to any particular matter because it is entered inside there. So it is very easy to collect, and put together the information in relation to travel for each and every ministry over any period of time. It just takes a few keystrokes. So to give the impression that people have to go into a ministry and sit down, you remember this had this big long book and them, you have to go through and you turn a page and you have to hope wouldn't something don't get into. Yeah, it passed that stage. It's Smart Stream right now. It is an online platform. So there's no necessity to give the impression that you can't find that information. You all just don't want to get the information. Oh, Miss Akira Lessie. Yeah, that's the executive secretary. I wonder, does Miss Akira Lessie carry a normal Grenadian passport or official passport? In fact, let me ask the parliamentary team of the New National Party. I think you all need to pose a question. Whether at the Senate or whether at the House of Representatives, we want to know all who are official and diplomatic passport right now. Because I kind of seen some movements and I'm wondering about some things. I'm seeing some movements and wondering about some things. So you want to know who has official passports. Kind of want to know. You understand? Who have official and who have diplomatic. And there's nothing wrong with providing that information, because during the New National Party's time, that question was asked and answered. The information was presented. Yeah, so I think that we kind of need to know who are the people receiving official and diplomatic passports. There are two different things there. Official, there's a green cover one, official. And then there's diplomatic. That's the red cover one. And then all of the rest of us carry the blue covered one, the normal Grenadian passport. So we want to find out who have been issued with the official and with the diplomatic between the 23rd of June and now. I'll tell you what the question is. Yeah, because I kind of seen some things happening there. We want to know who carrying the passports, you understand? And the reasoning for carrying those passports. Nice? Yeah, so a good night to all of you. I didn't go over the names because we was fighting to try and get, I think the Facebook is up and good now. Yeah, I was fighting to get that up and running properly. 440-73, let me clear the lines. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. For those of you in North America, you can call. You can also call us on WhatsApp. Yes, you can call us on WhatsApp. Yeah, 440-7377. For my good friends in St. Lucia, that means 1473-440-7377. Or just put a plus sign in front of the one so the thing will come through proper, because a landline WhatsApp kind of thing we are set up there. But the phone lines are open. Okay, yes, you can call.
In vain, hoping you listen straight, but you not refrain, I remember you say Liberation Day, and I ask, you sure is that you wanna say? Cause it sounded so good to be.
Okay, someone just messaged me and he told me the problem I was having with Facebook is not just me. It's a worldwide issue that Facebook is having.
Promises, we would say.
You know, I even listened yesterday. I listened this afternoon. I listened over the government's press conference in relation to Finance Committee meeting. And let me say to GBN News, the New National Party the opposition press conference that they had was not in response to the government press conference. It was not in response. I don't know where they get that from. Yeah, I really don't know. Something in gelling right with my good friends at GB. I love you all, all you know, all is my peoples. But something in gelling right with all you. Yeah, because I don't know where they get this thing from. It was in response to something, to them. It was in response to what took place on Monday with the Finance Committee, not in response to any government press conference. Yeah? In fact, you're lucky we didn't put it before that press conference. But I was listening to the government press conference and I heard them saying that the Minister of Finance, in his very short thing that he did, I nearly missed the video on that because it was so short, where he said that Finance Committee only needs a quorum of 5 and that they had 10, so they went ahead with it. Now, let me explain to the Minister of Finance, because he may not be very aware of parliamentary procedure. And so while that is the fact that, yes, it does says you need a quorum of 5, you only utilize those sort of things in a situation where there is a national emergency. If you have a national emergency and Parliament is still open and you must pass the budget, that's why they put in those clauses in there. Not for people to feel that they could just do as they want. It is an emergency clause. That's why it's there. Only in cases of emergency. That's when you're supposed to utilize it. Maybe they need to go back and change it and put it that only to be used in cases of emergency. Maybe they need to clarify that. But that's the only way that you say, well, okay, we only have a quorum of 5 and we're going with it. Then you have the Prime Minister making statements like, the opposition leader don't have to come. That is an affront to the people of St. George Northwest. That is an affront to each and every person that got up on the 23rd of June and went and cast their ballot for the New National Party to make this kind of statement about the opposition leader. It's disrespectful, but then we realize they're making all kind of disrespectful statement because St. Lucians could tell you, right now, watch, when a St. Lucian start to cuss you in patois, you in problem, you know. When they start to cuss you in patois, you're in problem. Then you're hearing people making all kind of dunce statements on radio this morning I heard one talking about, oh, Sir James Mitchell came here and he made a statement about what Gary told him and Dr. Mitchell and so on. And that individual failed to let you all know that was not a convention of the New National Party. That never happened at a convention of the New National Party. For those of you old enough to remember, that statement was made at the Grenada Trade Center during the funeral of Sir Eric Matthew Gary. Because that some people were upset with the statement. But that was not the NNP did invite him and he come at a convention of the NNP and he make that statement. No. That statement was made for those of you, many of you that listening might be too young and many of you that just may not know. That statement, yes, you, Pele, I'm talking about you. When they say anything, say it properly. That was not made at a convention of the New National Party. It was made during the funeral of Sir Eric Matthew Gary at the Grenada Trade Center. The statement that Deacon Mitchell make is undefensible. You can't defend that. For you to tell the guy that he's wrong and to apologize, because here's what the likelihood is. There's an extremely high likelihood, understanding the context of St. Lucian politics, that he will have to lean on a Prime Minister, Alan Chastanet, in the very near future. Let me say that again. The same former Prime Minister and opposition leader that he went in the country and showing talk for, he may have to lean on him in CARICOM for something for Grenada. Well, if he still remains up to that point in time, because we know what's going on. So you can never tell. Before his term is over, meaning Deacon Mitchell, before his term is over, what are you going to do when Alan Chastanet and the UWP win? He ain't going to write a congratulatory message. St. Lucian will dress him. Write a congratulatory message to Alan Chastanet, the new Prime Minister of St. Lucia. And then when it comes up to some issue where Grenada needs the support of St. Lucia, how is he going to Mr. Chastanet now and speak to him? After making statements like that. And to try to give the impression that nothing is wrong with that and so on. And no, a lot is wrong with that. Don't try and defend the undefendable. That's indefensible. Don't try that. Yeah, when all you're talking, know all you're talking. Some of us listening out here and we know. If all you have to beg for all your supper, beg for all your supper. There is nothing wrong with that. But stop trying to fool Grenadian people. Yeah, that was not said at a convention, a general council or anything of the New National Party. It took place during the funeral of Sir Eric Matthew Gary. Those of you who were there and those of you who were old enough to remember that would be able to confirm what I'm saying. Yeah? 440-7377. I'm not sure what's up with the phone lines today. 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside.
Everybody say, cell phone ring, man answering, yellow, yellow, no hello. Teeth get yellow, house get yellow, bus get yellow, man get yellow, even green get yellow, and so says 11-4. When you trick us with campaign prom.
And you know, again, let me just play something again from Dr. Mitchell yesterday. Yeah, let me just play something from yesterday, from one of his statements yesterday as well. I have quite a few of the statements here that were made yesterday. Yeah, it took me a little longer than normal to get some clips together, but I was able to get some clips together.
They have abdicated their responsibility. Not to me, not to any one of us sitting here. They have abdicated their responsibility to the country. Stop thinking of us individually. We are not individual that you have to respond to. You respond to the people. The people are the ones who selected these members. And everyone must be given due course and consideration.
Yeah. So when you make the statements that were made at that press conference, when you do what you did earlier in the day on Monday, they were abdicating their responsibility to take into consideration the concerns of the widest cross-section of Grenadians possible. They just don't care. Jumping on a plane and going is more important. Every time you see the government gazette, is a pile of minister travel, this minister. Is Karen James holding on for Gloria. It's Gloria holding on for Karine James afterwards. It's Adrian Thomas holding on for Claudette. It's some other lady holding on for Claudette as the Attorney General. It's Andy Williams holding on for Deacon Mitchell as Prime Minister. Every time you look, is one set of them holding on for somebody because they're gone. Can anyone tell us what have been the benefits of the extreme, if you have to put it like that, extreme travel of the National Democratic Congress? What has been the benefit of the travel? Because every minute they're on a plane. Yes, some of them spending more time in the air than they're spending in the constituency office. The constituents know there's a fact. Some of them spending more time outside of Grenada than they're spending in the ministry that they're assigned to. You're going to see the minister, most time you're going to see the minister. Oh, minister is out of state. Very important issue. Very important, sometimes issues with a time limit, so you must do things within a certain period of time. People can't find their MPs. Meanwhile, I getting messages in my inbox. Sheldon, can you direct people to me? I need some help because I have to do a medical procedure by Friday. I need to pay. Can you direct people to us by next week? We need to do a medical procedure. We need to do these tests and so on. Can you direct us? Sheldon, we suffered this disaster within the family. Can you direct us where to help? Because people cannot find the MPs. They just can't. And there's only so much we can do from here. But people just cannot find the MPs. Because even when they're in Grenada, they're hiding. When they're here, you can't see them. And even when you see them, it's a high and by. And that is the situation. And when you have a one MP, that they can actually see people from the other areas coming down to see that MP. Because, yeah, that's the one they could find. So they're coming down to find that particular one. Yeah? Those are the situations we have taking place in our country right now. We also have a situation where after Grenada has signed on to an agreement along with the other CBI countries within the OECS, after they have signed on to that agreement with the United States that they would no longer be processing applications from Russia, we have Russian applications still being processed today, still being processed in the state of Grenada. St. Kitts found itself in a similar situation, and when they started getting into problems, so they had to end up refunding, so they had to give back the money to the people who had applied for citizenship in St. Kitts. Yes, St. Kitts. I hope it's St. Kitts I said that. I have a feeling I said St. Vincent, but St. Kitts. St. Vincent doesn't have a CBI program. So they had a press conference recently and they announced that their CBI revenue is not where it's supposed to be. They have issues with the CBI program on a whole, and that they've had to be refunding money to people who applied under their CBI program. They've had to be refunding money to these people because they have an agreement you're not supposed to be processing. But what did Grenada do? Around the same time they were signing the agreement to the US that they would not be doing that, they ensured that they actually added a marketing agent in Russia. And who is to tell? How can you be sure that some of the people that they are processing now, that their applications came in before the deadline? Who in charge? Who's looking over? Are they giving the names? Are they saying, well, look at this date, these are all the applications we had in? Are they providing that information to anybody? So they could still be taking a 200, a 300 more, a 400 more, because there is not proper oversight into what they are doing right now. Hence the reason they are still processing people from Russia. So if you find Grenadians suddenly having problems when you're going over Barbados to get your visa because of what your government is doing, and they find that might be your name now, but they've also said that in Grenada's case, individuals who are under the CBI program can change their names after a year and get a passport with a new name and everything like that. Yeah, and they've actually, the European Union have made note of that. That's one concern that they have. A few concerns that they have in relation to CBI. Yeah? But now we find out that our country is still processing people from Russia. And I'm wondering, I say, but no. I was listening to the CBI forum that they had recently. And let me see if I could let me see if I could pull up what was the first thing. Let me pull up the first one for you, where they're speaking about all of the applications over the years and what has been happening when it comes to applications over the years and where the applications are coming from. Because we've always had people from Russia coming under the CBI program, but now Russia is a sanctioned state as of last year. So next thing we will hear North Koreans gain Grenadian passport too. Let's just hear from them at the CBI forum. Let's hear from them when they're speaking about where people who are under the CBI program are coming from over the years, and hear what they're saying about the years 2022 and 2023.
Applications, where they came from. Over the period 2014 to 2003, we observed that most...
Okay, let me just correct that graphic because you will not be able to see what is there. Let me just, let me just get that thing proper there. Nice, yeah, I'm sure I have it proper now. So let me start back there. Nice, so let me start it back now so that you can see it properly.
Applications, where they came from. Over the period 2014 to 2023, we observed that most of the applications came from Russia. Russia constituted 42% of all the applications we received between the period 2014 and 2023. China ran second with 21%. Interestingly enough, we had applicants from the US, 1%. Now, we can ask ourselves, well, if this is some phony $3 bill program, why would Americans apply to it? Yeah? We had some from India, 2%, South Africa, 2%, Nigeria came in strong, 10%. Again, this is over the period 2014 to 2023. So the strongest source, our strongest source was Russia, 42%, and China, 21%. 2021, 2022, 2023, crucial years. In 2021, we noticed that China was its strongest source. 29% of our applications came from China, 19% came from Russia. Nigeria, 19%, and other sources made up 33%. In 2022, however, the coin was flipped. Russia took over China with 49%. China dropped from 29% in 2021 to 23% in 2022. And in 2023, huge jump. 75%, well, at least up until now, but not up until now, but up until March, because after March, no applications, we did not allow people from Russia to apply. So this number here is up until March. We had 75% of the applicants from Russia. China, 8%. What do you think explained that? Well, what explained it was the fact that we have this ongoing special military operations, as they call it, war between Russia and Ukraine. And in order to maintain the integrity of the program, it was decided at the political levels that we should cease. As of March this year, receiving applications from Russia. So there was a rush for Russians. Yeah? And that explained the spike in 2023. Huge spike, 75% of the applications.
Right, folks. So you're seeing there that between last year and this year, the figures when it comes to people who are coming from Russia took up, I think in 2022, 47%, and in 2023, this year so far, because they're still taking more on, 75% of the people who have been taken in under the CBI program at a point in time that that country is under sanctions have come from Russia. If Grenadians find that we are being screened more than normal when we travel, when we're trying to get into the UK, that they're screening us more than normal, or when we're going to the US, that they're screening us more than normal, all you know who to blame. Because they are saying that these people need to stay in their country. Grenada has no dog in that fight. We not against anybody from Russia. I'm not against Russians. I have friends who are Russians. I have no problems with people from Russia. I have friends from Belarus that I've met over the years. I have friends from those places. I don't have problems with those countries and so on. But we have to understand the context when we speak on the international level, and that the country has been sanctioned, and that Grenada has been spoken to in relation to this particular issue. So if we find ourselves having problems, we are nobody else to blame, you know. Yeah. Let me see if I could play a next one for you all. Yeah, let me play where they actually admit, where they are admitting that they are still processing people from Russia. Yeah? Let me play that for you. Listen carefully to what is being said here.
So where citizenship or individuals have been granted citizenship from. So before the war, as was mentioned earlier, China had the lion's share. But we now see a tremendous shift to Russia. And I just wanted to provide some color, a little more color. Doc Sandiford did a very good job of talking about the fact that the Russian war fed the Grenada program. But that happened also because after the war, the number of countries available to Russian citizens shrank from 25 to about 5 countries. And then for a period of time, Grenada was the only country in the region accepting Russian applications. And as a result of the war, more people wanting to leave Russia had 5 choices, 1 in the Caribbean. It was Grenada. And so it created a tremendous flow of applications to the Grenada program, which ended on the 31st of March, 2023, but created a significant backlog of applications, which we are now going through the process with.
So you all recognize, and speaking there was Mr. His name slips me now, Thomas, I think it's Thomas Anthony or something like that. He's the head of the CBI program in Grenada right now. And you all realize the last statement that he made. And let me play that statement again for you all, the last part of his statement.
The Grenada program, which ended on the 31st of March, 2023, but created a significant backlog of applications, which we are now going through the process with.
In other words, they are now going through the process because they had a backlog. So we don't know if they're speaking here about 2,000 additional. We don't know if they're speaking about 3,000 or 4,000 additional people to gain Grenadian citizenship. But according to the head of Grenada's CBI program, they are still processing Russian applications.
The Grenada program, which ended on the 31st of March, 2023, but created a significant backlog of applications, which we are now going through the process with.
So they are now, not before the 23rd of March, not before that, they are now going through the process with. And they're basing the amount of money that they're going to make in CBI for 2024. They are basing it on this backlog. Let me play that one for you. No, seriously, they are basing the money that they're projecting for 2024. They are basing that on the backlog, the pipeline, as they're saying, of Russians into Grenada's CBI program. The same thing that they signed and tell the US and them that they ain't going and do. They're processing them still. Yeah? And they come out publicly and say it. I did not get no brown envelope to find out this. They said it themselves.
I just want to provide you with also some revenue information. So you would see that in 2019, we earned $118.6 million from the CBI. In 2023, that number is now 324 million EC dollars, and the year is not over yet. This is going to be our apex year. It's a year of record-setting revenues, application intake, application processing for the Grenada program. And we expect to see not similar numbers, but close to this number in 2024 as well, because of that Russian pipeline I spoke about earlier.
So again, they are basing their CBI revenue on the Russians that they have not yet processed and are processing at this point in time. So we don't know today. We could have had people from Russia gaining Grenadian citizenship. Last week we probably had. Last month we probably had. Next month we probably will have. Into 2024, because you've heard him say that they are basing their projections. Let's hear it. Let's hear what he said here.
Not similar numbers, but close to this number in 2024 as well, because of that Russian pipeline I spoke about earlier.
So the monies that they are projecting under CBI for next year are based on a group of people that they said they would not take into the Grenada CBI program. And they think that the United States isn't watching this. They think that Canada is not watching this, so that while other islands are getting some preferential treatment in relation to their not needing a visa to enter, as they have certain qualifications, that Grenada is not offered the same. You think there isn't a reason for that? Because as far as they're concerned, it might very well be somebody from a sanctioned state who now is carrying a Grenadian passport that is attempting to enter.
For the Grenada program. And we expect to see not similar numbers, but close to this number in 2024 as well, because of that Russian pipeline I spoke about earlier.
But you know, the most worrying statement that I heard during the session that they had came from the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. The most dangerous, the most worrying statement that I heard at that CBI conference came from the General Secretary, and I'm going somewhere with this, came from the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Mr. Larry Barry. That's the most dangerous statement I heard, because it tells me that there is a particular trend of thinking amongst those people. And we know the Prime Minister is a CBI agent. We know the Minister of Finance is a CBI agent. We know the Treasurer of the NDC is a CBI agent. And now we know Mr. Nazim Burke is also a CBI agent. So there is a trend of thinking that seems to permeate the National Democratic Congress when it comes to this particular issue. But let's hear what the General Secretary of the NDC was saying at the CBI conference. Let's hear his question.
Do CBI citizens vote in Grenada? Can they vote?
Well, let's put it this way. Grenada does not have two classes of citizens. There's only one class. So whether you're born citizen by investment or by naturalization or other means, you have certain rights. I do not know of any citizen by investment who has qualified to register to vote. Now, I'm told that there are one or two who are resident on the island. I was hearing about one who started or opened a tile store or whatever and so forth. And of course, that individual will have the right, like any other Grenadian, to exercise all the rights that a citizen has.
So it would mean that they would have had to satisfy the 1-year residency status.
They have to comply like anybody else,
Okay.
yes.
So that if 1,000 of them decide to take a plane and come and vote at the election next time, they can't vote until they would have satisfied the 1-year residency requirement.
Same rules.
Good.
As you know, if you are a Commonwealth citizen, the rule is slightly different.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, good.
So you realize the thinking here. How can they get CBI people to vote? And that question is being asked by a political person, the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. You see the look in his eyes when he asking the question, kind of dreamily, like, yeah, boy, bring a little plane load and thing. How much they win St. John's by? 10 or 11 votes, however, they win St. John's by 13, whatever. Yeah, man, all you need is a 20 inside there and you're good to go. Yeah, or you put 150 or so in St. John's. CBI people, yeah, you get them to get registered. Because this means, and let me speak here to the members of the New National Party, those of you that work in the vineyard, those of you that out there, yeah, that means that you all have to canvass your voters list properly. Because we all know there are people that spend 3-4 years outside of Grenada and they come and they register. They come back. You have people who are based in Canada, based in the US, based in the UK, based even in other Caribbean islands. They've been out of the island for 3 years, 4 years, and they come back and they register. Even though they have not been living physically in the state of Grenada or even in the constituency that they register for the last year, as is required by law. They register and their names are on the list right now. We know these sort of things happen. We have a call online. Let me see if I can get that call through because, you know, it's WhatsApp as usual. So let me see if I can get that one through. Hello, good night. Hello, good night.
Yes, good night, good night.
Good night, caller.
Listening to what you're explaining there, the explanation that the gentleman gave concerning the CBI persons having to live in the island at least 1 year, they have the right to vote. Could it be that is one of the reasons the houses is to provide lodging for them?
You never
residence for them?
You never know.
Because they would need somewhere to stay.
But
they
my
need
friend,
somewhere to stay.
My friend,
So,
I'm sure.
you know, just listening that day, my mind just run on that. That could be one of the reasons.
Well,
thank you.
All right, my dear. But one of the things is that we all know that there are people that come in the outer Grenada 2 years, 3 years, and they come back and they register to vote. And some of them, they register to vote not even in the place that they're really from, but they come in, they bring their birth certificate and the other documents and they register. So it means, as they say, eternal vigilance is the price of freedom. It means that we have to keep a very close eye on the electoral system. And that we all have to keep a very close eye on the voters list. Because 100 people could make a very big difference in a constituency. 50 people could make a difference in a constituency. Yeah? Because we know that people come into Grenada sometime Grenadians, yeah, your Grenadian passport. They might even come and get the driver's license and NIS card and other things like that. They may come and do that. And remember, they can also change names too. They could change the name and still have the Grenadian citizenship and that sort of thing. Some other territories bar that, but in Grenada, they could do that. So we have a situation that we need to keep a closer eye. Have we seen this administration, who spoke about that sort of thing before, changing the registration officers in different constituencies? Have we seen that happening? Has that happened? Have we seen that the people who are registering people to vote in different constituencies, that has been changing? The people in charge and so on? If so, where? And if it has been done in different areas, not only where, but why has that been taking place? We've been hearing that there is the possibility, we have been hearing that there is the possibility of a new voter system being put in place. A new system being put in place. Because the old system not only is outdated, it doesn't provide the information that you need in an election at this era. It doesn't provide the information. You can't collate information and say, for instance, what are the ages of the people who have just registered, and it doesn't give you that. It just says this person has registered, this is the polling station, that's the name, the polling station, the occupation, just that sort of thing, male, female, whatever. It just says that. But you need a little more information into the system now. But the existing system cannot take that information. And I hear somebody was blaming NNP. No. This system was put in place in 2010 by the NDC, not the NNP. This was put in place by the NDC. The company that had put this system in place that we're using in Grenada doesn't even exist. So the Electoral Office is correct in wanting to change the system and update the system and so. But while that is taking place, vigilance. We all have to be paying attention. You're seeing some strange names popping up on the voters list in your polling division. Find out who they are. They may very well end up being somebody who became a citizen through CBI, come in Grenada for a couple of days, register and go. While that should be illegal, we know it can happen. We know it could happen. Yeah? So we have to be careful. Because you heard the question asked by the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. Let's hear him again.
Do CBI citizens vote in Grenada? Can they vote?
Well, let's put it this way. Grenada does not have two classes of citizens. There's only one class. So whether you're born citizen by investment or by naturalization or other means, you have certain rights. I do not know of any citizen by investment who has qualified to register to vote. Now, I'm told that there are one or two who are resident on the island. I was hearing about one who started opened a tile store or whatever and so forth. And of course, that individual will have the right, like any other Grenadian, to exercise all the rights that a citizen has.
So it would mean that they would have had to satisfy the 1-year residency status. Like
like anybody else, okay. Yes.
So that if 1,000 of them decide to take a plane and come and vote at the election next time, they can't vote until they would have satisfied the 1-year residency requirement.
Same rules. Good. As you know, if you are a Commonwealth citizen, the rule is slightly different.
Yes. Yes. Good.
Yeah, and someone was asking me the name of the CEO of the Citizenship by Investment. For here in Grenada, it's Thomas Anthony. I was correct on the name. It's Mr. Thomas Anthony. All right, yes, as the person message said, it's important that you know the name. So he's the one who has been speaking about citizenship by investment. The last voice you heard there was between an exchange between Mr. Larry Barry and Mr. Richard Duncan on this very issue. Yeah? So we have to be very careful. Yeah? Because sometimes people win elections And I've seen in some countries, people ain't winning, you know. They thief it. They ain't win it. They thief it. And there's a third option. In some countries in the region, they buy it. So be very careful here with what is taking place. Because while we may just look at it as, oh, money coming into the economy, and let me say again, even the figures that they are stating for CBI is misleading. Because they're stating how much CBI has brought in overall. That's not how much the government of Grenada making. You know, they're not giving you that figure. They need to give you the amount of money that the government of Grenada makes out of CBI. If 300 million is made by CBI in Grenada, that's not the amount of money that the government of Grenada gets out of CBI. Most of that money goes onto the projects and the investors and so on, who the investments, not investors, the investors are the ones spending their money. But that money goes into the investment. The government of Grenada just receives fees. So you might hear a payment of 300,000 and so, and think that that 300,000 goes to the government of Grenada. No, it goes into the particular project. Remember, Kimpton by Kawana, they had to find back 300,000 here and maybe 400,000 I think to pay back people. Yes. It doesn't go to the government of Grenada. It goes to the investment. The government of Grenada might receive a 50,000 US here and so on. I think there's another payment that they receive. I can't remember if it's 10,000 or whatever they receive US that they receive on these things. But the vast majority goes into the particular project that the person is investing in. Yes, they can make contributions to the National Transformation Fund. That is one option. So there's that option, but there's also the option where people can invest in different projects, like what is taking place in Navarra, what is taking place in St. David. Yeah, those projects. So I'm just saying these things, but I want you all to understand the possibilities of what is taking place. Yeah? That it is important for you to play your role. It is important for you and me, not just you, are taking responsibility too, to ensure that we go through that voters list. Because what you don't want to happen, and I've seen it happen before, not just here in Grenada. I've been involved in campaigns in other places in the Caribbean, and I've seen it happen. And I've seen people who had the best intentions, the people who were fitting to be a candidate, to be the MP for a particular area, lose because their team failed them. They didn't do the work that was necessary. And I'm speaking about it early because we like to wait too late for some things. Let me say this. When the final voters list comes out, excuse me, and you realize that there are 50 or 100 or 150 names that ought not to be there, you realize 20 people have died 2 years ago and their name's still on the voters list. But that is just a few days before the election. Sometime 2 days before the election, you realize, well, it are 20 people here, they're dead, but their name's still on the list. And these people died 2-3 years ago. Or you're seeing some names that you really can't identify. And lo and behold, these people appear with their voters' ID in hand on election morning to vote. But you only realize that when the final voters list comes out. There's nothing you can do at that point in time. Let me say it again. There's nothing that you can do at that point in time. What are you going to file an injunction to stop the election? No, it's not going to work. People tried that before. That ain't working. Make a hullabaloo about it and these names need to come off the list. Yeah, they will come off the list after the election. And by the time you try to challenge the results of the election, it's time for another election. So you have to be careful. Keep your eye. Yes, we can talk about the traveling and that the Prime Minister jumping on a plane and traveling every minute and all that kind of thing. Yes, it's important for us to speak about that. Yes, we could speak about the state of the economy. We could speak about the fact that people are losing jobs and jobs going. We could speak about that. And that they line when they come and they say, we have it here. We have it here. We could speak about all that. But it is important for us to mind we business before we business end up minding somebody else. Yeah? So we have to pay attention. I don't mind if I have to say it every single night up between now and the next election, which we hope is sooner rather than later. I don't mind if I have to say it every night. Pay attention to the voters list. You know the PD you living in, you should know the people in your community are. So if you see strange names start to appear, or people that you know for a fact not living there, speak to your representative. Speak to your new National Party representative in the area so that early up and not a day or two before election or a week before election you're trying to take names off the list. Nah man, that ain't making sense. We've got a call online. Good night.
Yes, good night, Brother Sheldon.
Hi, good night, sir.
Hey, how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm great, man.
All right. Now, as you mentioned it, what about the Kuwana Bay situation down there? We need to talk about those things, you know. We need to continue talking about it.
I come in there, man. I ain't finished yet. The CBI we talking tonight, so I come in there. But go ahead.
Right. And then the something else I've been looking at, the representation of the People's Act, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we had about, if I could recall, over the past years, we've had about 5 to 6 amendments, isn't it?
Well, maybe even more than that. It has been amended because you have to continually update it.
Right, but the one I'm really talking about and I'm concerned about, and as you're talking about it with regards to the registration. All right, now I think that's one of the problems that we had in the last election. You know, and you mentioned that, you know, people just come in and registered. You know, we had photos of persons who had who came from certain constituencies. And we did during the last registration when the Governor General gave the writ, we did make mention of it, but no, we could not. Nobody could have helped us. So the point here is that if something like that happens at the last moment, how are we to deal with it? You know, when everybody and you mentioned the Cambridge. You remember that that team,
Cambridge Analytica.
The Cambridge Analytica. You know, after it's alleged that they would have spilled the beans all over the place. They had spread their wings all over, and the work has been done. Okay? In a situation like that, what could we have done? I think what the electoral office need to do, okay, and I really do hope they are non-political in the sense that they are not showing the biasness, etc. They would have the political rights because I mean our parliamentary system is a democratic one, okay? Okay, but you know what happened in places like our city, in our territory. What happens? You know, we are in for a serious awakening. Because what this guy just said, that General Secretary of the party, the question he has asked, and you answered it. I believe that things like that will happen, and we have to prepare for them. The only thing that I could say right now, Brother Sheldon, is that these people will demise their own selves. They will, stick their feet in the mouths. Because one, they are ill-disciplined bunch of people, and you know when people are ill-disciplined and people doesn't have respect for the seniors and respect for those who are the teachers. You know, I look at the parliament and I see this young parliamentarian pointing his head, and he's referring to the opposition team. You know, I don't know what he's pointing his head and making this articulation about. I don't know. They have no respect. So what do you think would happen? What do you think would happen? God is not sleeping. He is wide awake. He is wide awake. Almighty is wide awake. And he's going to teach them a lesson. He's going to give them a rude awakening. You know, brother, continue the program, and I'm waiting
All
to
right,
hear
brother.
about the Corona Day and so on.
Yes, indeed. Yes, folks, and you can call 440-7377. You can call us on WhatsApp. You can call us directly for tonight's program. Yeah, you can call us directly. You can call us on WhatsApp. Right, yeah, because what we're seeing here, I mean, I was looking at not just the last CBI forum. I was looking at the CBI forum that they had one before that. And I realized something, you know. Let me see if I can pull this one up. I may not be able to pull up the audio on this particular one. But, you know, let me see if I can put this one up here. Yeah. Let me see if I can put it up. Right? I was looking at this CBI forum, and I don't know if you all realize what I'm seeing here. That the individual is reading from a typed piece of paper that was given to them to ask a question at the CBI forum. You could see it right here in their hands that there is a paper there with a question typed on it that they're asking questions, and that there were several of those in that CBI forum. I don't know for the one in St. Andrew, I didn't notice the paper, but I know for this, the CBI forum that they had before. Yeah, they was asking the questions. Now we want to see the paper there. We don't want to see your face necessarily, right? Nice, yeah. They were asking the questions from written paper that was put out there, and I wonder why. Yeah, if you're having a forum like that, I don't expect that you're doing them kind of thing there. Eh? No, but that is the kind of thing that's taking place, which is why I say we need to be alert and we need to pay attention. Right? So please, ensure that you become part of the team, and you pay attention to what is going on with our electoral system. All right? As I say, I don't mind if I have to come and say it every night. I don't mind having to come and pong it home, but we need to pay attention to that. And as the caller asked about the Kimpton by Corona, we're still waiting for updated information in relation to that particular issue. There does not seem to be any updated information in relation to what is taking place. The last thing we heard was that they were seeking to repay the investors, and that they were assessing the value of the investment that each investor had before they made a repayment to them. Now, budget is coming up, according to the Prime Minister, in roughly about 2 weeks' time, 2 weeks and some days. Budget is coming up. So I hope somewhere during that budget discussion that we hear how much is going to be paid out to those investors, because we're speaking here, if I remember correctly, about $56 million is what we're speaking about. Yeah, I can't remember the amount of investors. I think it was 124, something like that. But we're speaking here roughly about at least $56 million from what I have been picking up, which is the investment that each of these people who have invested into that Kimpton by Corona project, that the government has said that they're going to repay them. I thought that the approach, the proper approach, ought to have been that you negotiate with these people. We're going to continue the project. Yeah, we're just waiting to get somebody to take over the project. But it seems as though the government may already have somebody in mind for that project. And that person may want the project unhindered. Yeah, they don't want anybody that was involved in it before involved with it now. So it can very well be a situation that they do not want anyone who was involved or invested in that project before. And as such, not the persons or company who is taking over that project to bring it to completion, but the government of Grenada has said that they are going to pay the investors. So I would say, if you want to come and take over that project and you don't want the investors that were there before, you pay the investors off. But instead of that, the government has said that they are going to pay off those investors. They are the ones that are going to pay off the investors. So you're speaking at least 56 million. Because these people made an investment for a profit. They didn't make an investment to lose. Some of them paid 250,000 US, some of them paid 350,000 US. And we're not speaking about the fees to government and that sort of thing. And they are remaining with their citizenship, so we don't expect them to get back the fees. If they are getting to keep their citizenship, we don't expect them to get back their fees, but they're getting back the rest of their money. So they're getting back their 250 or the 350 plus interest on that. I don't think they're going to just say, give me my wrong 250 or my wrong 350 or so. Let's see how the entire thing develops, because we're waiting. The government is doing a lot of these things in secrecy. And they're doing a lot of things to the point that you might just wake up next week and hear that Grenlec gone. Yeah, you might just wake up next week and hear Grenlec gone. You might hear the status of NOWASA has changed. Because the way that they're doing things, with this veil of secrecy, and when you pose questions and you ask questions, they dip, they duck, and they refuse to answer. Remember, we're speaking about a project here in which there were allegations that the individuals who were in charge of that project funded the NDC campaign. You hearing all the kind of sweetheart deals that that company get, and they go on the way and all kind of thing. We heard allegations in the public. You heard them, I heard them. That the National Democratic Congress campaign of 2022 was funded by the individual or individuals behind the Kimpton by Koana. We heard those allegations. Me ain't see no check and things, so I can't say if it's true or if it's not true. What I would say is I find it to be very, very convenient that the individuals who were behind that project spent roughly 18 million EC dollars on the project from their pockets, roughly 18 million EC from their own pockets on that project, but were given 22 million US in a payoff from the government of Grenada, the NDC administration. I find that to be very suspicious. I have concerns in relation to that. That a company that only spent 18 million Eastern Caribbean dollars received from a committee that had one individual who was the individual who was basically doing their books for them. Yeah? There's another individual who was involved in the whole thing, in coming up with that final agreement. That was the banker, because the exclusive banker of that company was Cooperative Bank, and we know who was the manager of Cooperative Bank, isn't it? The same person you heard speaking a while ago in relation to CBI. We also hear that one individual who is on the present board of directors of Grenada's Citizenship by Investment program works with the same company that received the 22 million US. Let me say that again. One individual who has been and still is working with the company that received the 22 million US was part of the people that selected the committee to make the decision as to whether to pay or not pay and go to court. Does that sound right in your ears? That they were part of the committee that made that decision to create the other committee, the subcommittee, and that subcommittee included somebody who was working for the same company as well. And you have the chief of the board itself, who was the banker. And that company gets 22 million US. And they already get the first payment by now. The 15th of November, they ought to have received their first payment. I think their second payment might be due sometime next month or so. And then next year, you have a final payment to be made. I think the Prime Minister had mentioned how it's going to be paid. But don't you find something definitely wrong with that situation? Yeah? And we are not hearing anything about it. What's the latest in relation? What are the price? What have they decided is the proper amount of money for them to give to the individuals who have invested, individuals or maybe might have a company or two as well, that have invested into that project. But all they're doing is running around and shouting up, up, up. Yeah? Up, 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 and we have it here. We have it right here. I can show you. We have it here. That's all they're doing. Yeah? That's all they're doing. Running around with those sort of things while we have outstanding questions on these sort of issues. Yeah? That's the kind of thing we have taking place.
Have it here. Have it here. I can show you. What on that? What on that?
We have it here. I can show you. And more than that. More than that. Folks, 4407377. It's now 34 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. Give me a call. 4407377.
This is not politics. Please don't forget. I'm just practicing to be a poet. Not qualified as yet, but have no fear. I'm gonna get there. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectation. Neither are you in to live up.
And you know that they're trying to hoodwink you when they take the prime, after we've spoken about it on this program, when all of a sudden the CBI site, you realize the Prime Minister's name suddenly disappears as a local agent, but the company remains. So the company is still there, but the people who are in charge of the company, the principals of the company, their name disappears. The name of everybody else is there. But they did it, and they didn't do the same for Mr. Dennis Cornwall. And then when we pointed that out, they pulled his name off too. So when you go to the CBI site and you're looking at local agents, you're seeing the names for Mr. Mitchell's company. No, the name isn't there. The name of the company is there, but the name of the principal people isn't there. And when it comes to Mr. Dennis Cornwall's company, you're seeing the name of the company there, but his name is not showing up, but everybody else's name showing up. I wonder why.
Some no misuse. Simple information I will use. No rocket science to get you confused. So relax your mind. Make sure everything is fine while I take you down a poetic line. Cause we campaign promises. We won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've worked it in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain. But you now refrain. You now refrain. I remember you say Liberation Day.
And I'm still trying to see, I know BSB, yeah, Burke, Sealy Burke, is it? Yeah, Consulting has been appointed as a CBI agent, and I'm still checking the list to see when, earlier updating the list, earlier, where's all you seen, earlier? I mean, yeah, we trying to check the list and see, man, but let's stick in. Yeah, let's stick in, man. Let me check the list together earlier. Let me see if I'm missing it. All right, so we have that one there, the person name is there. Right. This person's name is the name of the company anyway. So right. Right. The name. When it comes to Mitchell and Partners Inc., no name is there. The name, yeah, that disappeared. It used to be there, you know, but it disappeared now. Right. So we see that person's name is there. That person's name is there. This person's name is here. Right. We see a name down here. Right. This one we see the name. Right. We see the name of this person. We see the name here. We see the name here for this one. We see all these people name, you know, all of them name. But why Citizenship and Corporate Services Limited has no name? Why is there no name under Mitchell and Partners and no name under Citizenship and Corporate Services Limited? Who are the principals of those companies? Is it the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance? And if so, why all you pull the name? Because the name used to be there, no purpose. Me that go and open my big mouth and start to talk about it. Yes, my big mouth. I go and open my big mouth and start to talk about it. Only dentists does say my mouth kind of small. But my big mouth and talk about it. And now they go and they take off the name. Yeah? They take off the name. But the name that used to be here was Mr. Dennis Cornwall, who is the Minister of Finance. Who, when the companies have to get their concessions, they have to go to the same person who is in charge of Citizenship and Corporate Services Limited, which opens the door to the possibility of corruption. Yeah? Why is there no name attached to Mitchell and Partners Inc.? What's the reason? Why all of a sudden the name has disappeared? Because it is glaringly glaring that has disappeared. We see Miss Andrea St. Bernard, or Lily, she named though. And she named it. We are looking to see all these people name here, all of them companies there and they name there. But we're not seeing BSB there. We're waiting for BSB. All your updates, all your lists. People in charge of the CBI program, the website and thing. Oops, I think people have been trying to call. Folks who have been trying to call on the straight line and call back. I think the phone line was engaged. Give us a call back. Yeah. Oh, I see what's happening there. I just realized what was happening with the landline. Folks, give us a call now on the direct line. Yeah, it was engaged to auto answer, so I wasn't seeing the flash. So you can give a call. 440-7377. Yeah, fine. Going through that list there, and I ain't seeing the new people. I ain't seeing what going on there. Yeah, what is going on there? Nice. What is going on with that? Yeah,
It's the whole of the country. You didn't see us down by the brewery when they sent SSU to between. Trick us with campaign promises. We won't say a tease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain.
So you have to go to a person who you can do business with for a concession. I find that is confusion. We've got a call online. Good night.
Yeah, good night.
Yeah, good night. Yes, go right ahead, caller.
All right. Listening program there, and you have to be very careful. You have to get up and get and make sure the voters list is properly in order and do what we have to do.
Yes, of course.
All right. Okay.
Okay, brother. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Yeah? Yes, okay. My good friend, I'll get in contact with you. I see, yeah, I'll get in contact with you. Right, yeah, information had come in there. We want to know why all the subterfuge and smoke and mirrors when it comes to Grenada CBI project, because we know people didn't like CBI before, but they seem to love it right now. Yeah, a certain political organization did not like CBI at all. But all of a sudden, it seems as though they love CBI. So you want to know why? And why all this subterfuge? Why they taking out of the names? The only two companies that you're seeing is Mitchells and Partners Company and Citizenship and Investment, whatever, where there is no name as to the people who are attached to those companies. In my view, both companies should be struck from the scroll. They should be removed as local agents. Yeah? That's as far as I'm concerned. Because you can't have a company who is a local agent who can make literally millions of dollars off a CBI, but the person who is in charge of that company is also the person that is granting concessions to the various CBI projects, where they are getting people through their marketing agents, and so they are getting people for the project, but they need to pass through a local agent to complete the process. So I'm saying that while that is the case, it opens the door to corruption. It opens the door to it. And remember, corruption is not just actual corruption, it is the perception of corruption. And that is why the Integrity in Public Life Act is very clear on these sort of things. It's not just that you can prove that a person has done something. It is the perception that it can occur. And that is supposed to be avoided at all costs. But it seems as though the rules are only the rules for some people in this country. And when it comes to other people, you have all kind of flea coming out to bite people and come and make noise and say, it's right. You know, we have it yet. Correct.
That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping
440-7377.
refrain. You now refrain. All your projects are stuck in a pipeline. But when asked, how is the country going? Oh, fine. We are looking into it. Never mind.
And folks, remember tomorrow night taking place at St. John.
Too long the yellow temperature. When will they start? Please answer that.
It's going to be the meeting in front of the Nutmeg Pool.
Although things are turning at a very slow pace, we now run no race. 5 years is a lot of space. It's just
So looking forward to see you all there. Yeah, don't worry, I'll go see our Talking Points t-shirt moving around there.
when you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay.
So just remember, folks, tomorrow from roughly 6:30, we'll be going live on the Talking Points page. Well, New National Party pages as well, but on the Talking Points page with tomorrow's activity. It means that we will not have a Talking Point tomorrow night, but you will be able to view what is taking place in St. John. For those of you that can't make it, I suggest those of you that are close enough and can make it, go on out. Yeah, go on out for yourself. Right? But for those of you that may be too far, and especially those of you overseas, and you all overseas know we love you, those of you overseas, you all can join online. We will have it live via the Talking Points page. I will send out a message just before it starts with the link and so on, so that everybody, just a refresher, because I know you all know where to find Talking Points, but we will be putting that out tomorrow so that you all will be able to take part.
But the man say he's an asset to the party, and will we vote you without him? You left him with Glenn alone. Maybe they cloned. And however, I foresee a pretensive unity that will mislead a lot just before the next.
Also remember the Carriacou and Petit Martinique branch of the New National Party in Brooklyn. They have that activity this week. I'm just trying to pull it up because I know I've got it here somewhere. Yes, the Fish Fry fundraiser, and that is taking place this Saturday, and it's going to be taking place. Let me get the exact. Come nothing. Why are you moving so? Hey, yeah. So that's the Fish Fry fundraiser that's going to be taking place. The Carriacou and Petit Martinique New York chapter, and that's going to be taking place. Let me see. 302 East 91st Street, Brooklyn, New York, 11212, between Lenox and Clarkson. So that is going to be taking place this Saturday. Yeah, let's send all the pictures to me and think. Let me see. Yeah, we got to see what's going on. All right. So music by DJ Gemini. You can get your tickets from Nisha at 347-683-1997. Jacintha at 917-615-4918. And Wilson at 917-754-1319. So that's the Fish Fry fundraiser that's going to be taking place out there, yeah, in 302 East 91st Street in Brooklyn, New York, 11212, between Lenox and Clarkson. That'll be taking place this Saturday, starting at midday, all right, and going until. They have escovitch fish, they have chicken, pork, goat, cuckoo, chow mein, rice and peas, salads, much more, drinks for so. All right, nice. So head on out there. Don't worry, next thing, all they might go there and all they might see I reach up there too, you know. All kind of man who has been on radio and program and things that just disappear and appear in the States, no? So why I can't appear and disappear and reach up there too? All right, nice. 440-7377. We have roughly about 14 minutes remaining on tonight's program.
That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. Old school parables say you know what you have, but you don't know what you go.
Also, folks, we'll keep you updated when we get information in relation to the funeral of our fallen soldier, Brother Adrian Spaceman Mitchell. We'll keep you updated when we get further information in relation to that one.
Aye. But boy, one song I sing, one bell a ring. If we didn't know, we never know yellow would have treat us so.
Also, this Saturday, there is a meeting as well. Let me come back to that one. Hello, good night.
Good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night, my dear.
How are you tonight?
Hey, I'm quite fine.
Okay, Sheldon, what happened to some of our people? Our Prime Minister went to St. Lucia and make a fool of us. But we're still trying to justify the wrong that he did. I was listening to the point this morning, and a prominent businessman was on the air talking about what the Prime Minister said, but that it had people, other Prime Minister come to Grenada and use, to that basic, say things to that basic. But what I'm saying, our Prime Minister didn't have right to go over there to make a fool of himself. he don't do the thing wrong already, but we Grenadians trying to justify, some of us trying to justify the wrong he did. A wrong could never be a right. A wrong have to be always a wrong.
Mawet is Mawet no matter which way you look at it.
It's stupidness. Anything is just stupidness. He go and he make himself a fool and just accept, well, okay, he make a mistake, he make himself a fool already. Let me just leave him. Don't continue the conversation. The man make himself a fool and now we want to justify it to make him look good. I don't know, some of us Grenadian really stupid.
Well, remember, my friend, earlier this week when we heard our good nursey friend called, she did say that the people's intention was they want to make their prime minister look good, eh?
Yes, they want to make him look good.
Not Grenada, not the NDC, they want to make their prime minister look good.
Yes, they want to make the prime minister look good. Because, remember, the reason why they want to make him look good, they're pushing him up to be a second Morris Bishop, you know. But Morris Bishop is a Morris Bishop. Prime Minister Dicker Mitchell is Prime Minister Dicker Mitchell. He can be a bishop. They're trying to make him look like a bishop, but he will never be a bishop. Only if his surname is Bishop, you know.
Well, as I said, the only things that are the same between the present Prime Minister and Prime Minister Maurice Bishop are that they are both lawyers. Maurice was a lawyer. They both have a name that starts with an M. They've both spent time as the Prime Minister of Grenada. They've both won a seat in elections, and I think it ends there.
Well, but you still go a long way, you know.
Yeah,
You
I
go
think
a
it
long
ends
way
there.
with it right there. When you go further on, I need to thinking about all of that.
That's
I
the only
think that
similarities.
He's deacon and Bishop is Morris. Anyway, I want to say a shout out to my Alexander family in Calgary. They tell me they hear my voice. Guys, all they hear me again tonight, eh? So I'm saying good night. They said to tell them good night.
All right, my dear.
All right.
All right. Yes, indeed. 440-7377. And as you go to Calgary, let me go up there too. You know. Patricia and Matthew, good night to you. Ian, good night to you. Fat Man George, good night to you as well, bro. Yeah, making sure and cover my links up there. And so, yeah, Mr. Watts, you and your lovely wife, good night. Zingo, good night to you. Fanny, good night to all of you. I know a certain person, I want to hear that name called like that. Good night to each and every one of you. Hope that you're having a wonderful night tonight. 440-7377. That's 440-7377 and 347-329-3101.
Past administration, past
Also, the St. Patrick West constituency, they're having a meeting at the Mount Rich Hard Court this Saturday from 6 p.m.
to economic recession with
So Mr. Victor Phillip and the team from St. Patrick West,
economic recession, the cause of
they will be having a bellow. They will be having their meeting this Saturday, and that's at the Mount Rich Hard Court, and it starts from 6 p.m. St. Patrick West.
we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain.
On Monday, we'll give you the meetings during next week as well. So we'll give you the meetings for next week on Monday. I have them already, but you don't want to confuse everything. Yeah, nice.
Oh, fine. We are looking into it.
So this Saturday, yeah, up in the North, there's St. Patrick West meeting at the Mount Rich Hard Court. And tomorrow, it's taking place in front of the Nutmeg Pool. Right, so St. Patrick West Zone on Saturday starts at 6 p.m. Tomorrow starts at 6:30.
A very slow pace. We now run the race. 5 years is a lot of space. It's just a few hungry people in a place and a few disgruntled green people with their vexed face.
Ibrahim, good night to you, bro.
Campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain.
There's a barbecue or something coming up as well that I had to advertise. And folks, yeah, Cami have t-shirts. Yes, the talking points. Yeah, you see them? Nice. She has the talking points t-shirts. Make sure and check Cami out. Nice.
Hold your yellow conviction strong.
Or you could also call me and I'll organize. You understand?
They're sucking money like water in foam. And rehire the Imanis. Less stress on the economy. You are Manchester, whole of the country. You didn't see us down by the brewery when
You can WhatsApp me on the 440-737 7 number and we can organize. Nice, good, yeah.
We've waited in vain.
For those of you in New York, you can contact Nurse Maguire.
Refrain.
I think she's had a hard day today. Nursey, I know you had a hard day today.
We can't digest that one. Remember the man say he's an asset to the party. And will we vote you without him? You left him with Glenn alone. Maybe they're cloned. And however, I foresee a pretensive unity.
So 4407377.
Next ballot. But you guys will have to come real good. Cause it's a long time Grenada I need to.
Folks, we have to keep our eyes on these various things that we see taking place. Yeah? As I said last night, when it comes to the issue of crime, our government continues to spend the time on looking at legislation and so on that they want to bring to Parliament in relation to legal firearms and yes, illegal firearms. That's all well and that's okay. But I'm going to say something, eh? How many people out there with illegal firearms really care about the law anyway? I mean, you could make it, you could get them 100 years in jail. If they're going to go with it, they're going to go with it. That the focus should be on interdiction. The focus should be on how do you stop it from coming through your ports, in the barrels that you say it coming in the containers that it coming in. Yeah, how do you address that situation? You could do the two in tandem, you know. But we're only hearing about legislation to deal with this and legislation to deal with that and that sort of thing. You heard the promise in relation to legalization of marijuana. Now you start to hear the discussion start to change. You're hearing legalization only for medicinal purposes. So you start to hear the discussion start to change and you hear they're looking to rush to Parliament with something soon because they're getting some files from some of the guys out there in relation to the issue. So there are many things that are happening and we're getting distracted by they will try to distract us over the next few weeks. Let me prophesy here tonight. Over the next few weeks, they will do all in their power to distract us. Be it that they come with some fanciful story. We're still waiting on the cabinet conclusion, eh? And that's a year now. We've been waiting on the cabinet conclusion. A year we've been waiting on the cabinet conclusion. But don't be surprised that they come with some other fanciful story between now and the budget debate. Because it's quite obvious that they do not want the budget debate to be focused on discussions in relation to the realities in Grenada, what is taking place with the finances of Grenada, and things like what the GDP is now that they've been borrowing, but they have not been expanding the economy. So what is your present GDP? Your gross domestic product? Yeah, what is it right now? Because you know you're measuring that. So they will not be able to give a proper accounting. Yeah? So we know what's taking place. We know that they don't want that discussion. They don't want those discussions. So they did what they did, knowing fully well that Dr. Mitchell could not make it on Monday. They did it knowing pretty well that Honorable Emlyn Pierre, and I'm sorry I didn't play that one tonight, but we only have a few minutes remaining, that she had to do surgery, and she said she didn't have to come and say it, but she did surgery. And as such, she could not have been there on Monday. And she has a contribution to make. She's a former Minister of Education. She's a former Minister of Youth, Sports, and Religious Affairs. She worked in the area, youth assistant coordinator, youth. Yeah? Over the years, many of the programs developed that you see were there under the Ministry of Youth were developed by her. And now, you did not give her the opportunity to be able to look at the budget and offer some suggestions. Or maybe they just don't want suggestions in relation to anything. Because you're still hearing them standing up on the other side and saying, shut up. That's the sort of behavior. Yeah? So they're focusing on individuals instead of focusing on the issues in our beloved country. Meanwhile, you have situations out there where people have medical procedures, they can't do it. And I see some people talking about the St. George Health Center last week when they had well, I believe the Minister of Health was trying to save his job. They did mention that they're closing the St. George Health Center. But did you take enough time to inform the public properly? Who is going to sit down and listen to 3 hours to find out that you're going and close the St. George Health Center? And none of the news media picked it up and started to put it up there that the St. George Health Center is going to be closed. So then people coming now, going, they want to get dressing and so come down looking to go there, closed. Yeah, and telling them use some of the other facilities when Laborie is closed. And if you check, one of the most populated areas is Laborie. So what are you telling them? That's the sort of thing. They do things without proper planning, without proper thinking, without proper foresight. And when you try to talk to them to say, this is what you should do or this is how you should go about something, they have the worst to say. Yeah, shut up. Right, sit down. You had a chance. That sort of nonsense. Yeah, instead of trying to learn from what you're saying, which is not necessarily an attack, but you're pointing out, hey, don't go down that road. That road broken. You go bust your toe when you go down that road. It's like when a little and mommy said, don't go outside. And as soon as she turned, she back and run outside and I bust my toe. And you had to come back inside now and she had to go and put the soft candle and all. You know, them old people like to burn cotton thing. Yeah, I feel she used to burn it just for me to learn a lesson. Don't go back outside when I say don't go outside. Throw kerosene, put kerosene and thing on it and then light it and all kind of thing. Say they're killing germs. Yeah? I feel they used to do that just to make you feel a little extra pain so you know next time, listen. But in the case of these individuals, when they go and they bust their toe, they even come in and tell you they're hiding it until it starts to fester. They didn't even come in and tell you that. Yeah? So folks, that's all the time we've had for Talking Points tonight and for this week. And indeed, it's been a pleasure being here with you. And I'd like to thank all of you who have called in, all of you who have contributed in whichever way to the program. Those of you that meet me on the street and just a word of encouragement, a word of advice. Those of you, the sharing squad. Yeah, those of you that always, every night, without me even having to say it, you like and share. Like and share. Those of you that continue to do that, I thank you so very much. And you know I love you. And all of you who joining religiously on a nightly basis. I have some husband telling me, listen, my wife annoying me now, and every night she had to hear your voice in the house. You have some wife saying, well, I don't know what to do, my husband. You know, this man must listen to you every night. Yeah? I'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to allow us into your homes. We'd like to thank, especially this week, for our brethren from St. Lucia, Mr. Leonard Spider-Man too, for his very timely intervention yesterday and taking the time out of his schedule, because he is a busy individual, to have that conversation with us last night. So to all of you, we'd like to say to you, in whatever you say, whatever you do it safe and secure. We want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. Love each and every one of you. I am out. Remember, tomorrow night, we will be broadcasting from St. John, the meeting, the public meeting that's taking place there. So we look forward to that one.
Search me, oh God, and know my heart. I pray, try me, oh Savior, no. See if there be some wicked ways in me. Cleanse me from every sin and set me free. Oh, if you are a leader and you lead because of power, if you take away from the poor man and you leave them just to suffer, oh, if your life not in line with the will of God, you must earn the search like you want. If you want to make it into heaven, my friend, live right and serve the Lord. Oh, if you are a leader and you lead because of power, if you take away from the poor man and you leave them just to suffer, oh, if your life not in line with the will of God, you must earn the search like you want. If you want to make it into heaven, my friend, live right and serve the Lord. Oh, if you are a leader and you lead because of power, if you take away from the poor man and leave them just to suffer, oh, if your life not in line with the will of God, you better serve the search like you want. And if you want to make it into heaven, my friend, live right